the South long summer. And he talked about how he's got this great plan for energy. And it's the Democrats who are standing in the way. Now let me first of all say this. Where's George Bush been over the last 8 years on energy? When he assigned Dick Cheney to come up with an energy policy, and Dick Cheney met with the renewable energy groups once, and he met with the oil and gas companies 40 times, where was George Bush? John McCain and George Bush essentially have the same plan, which is, their whole thing is we're going to drill for more oil offshore. Now, listen, this polls well. 70% of Americans are in favor of offshore drilling. And I understand that because people are desperate for some relief. You know, I met a guy who couldn't go on a job search and lost his job, couldn't fill up the gas tank because it was just too expensive. I met a woman who was teaching in South Dakota, teaching on an Indian reservation, loved her job, had to quit because the drive an hour back and forth, she just couldn't manage. So I know how hard people are getting socked by these high gas prices. But George Bush is selling you a bill of goods. John McCain is selling you a bill of goods. Because what they're saying is that we're going to start drilling now despite the fact that the oil companies have 68 million acres worth of leases that they've gotten from the federal government that they're not using the way they should right now. So they want to get more leases without using what they got. And if they started leasing right now, we would not see a drop of oil for 10 years. Not a drop. And you wouldn't see full production for 20 years. And in those 20 years, when you finally got full production, we would see maybe a few cents knocked off gas prices. But Lord knows what gas prices are going to be at that point. So, if I thought that the only way to solve the energy crisis was to go ahead and drill some more, I'd be all for it. But the truth is, that can't be our main answer. That's not our major strategy. We can work to increase supplies. But the truth of the matter is that we've got to have a much bolder energy policy. We've got to do what John F. Kennedy said when he said, we're going to the moon in 10 years. Nobody knew how we were going to do it. The engineers had no idea. But when America sets a goal, we meet it. And our goal has to be that we are going to reduce our consumption of oil by 30%, that we are going to develop solar and wind and biodiesel. We are going to develop plug-in hybrid cars and raise fuel efficiency standards. And we are going to create millions of green jobs all across America in a new energy economy. That's the kind of real solution, the honest solution we need for the next president of the United States of America. We're at the fork in the road. Are we going to keep on trying to take the easy way out and end up passing off these difficult problems to our children and our grandchildren? Or are we really going to finally unify, all of us, black, white, Hispanic, Asian, Native American, young, old, rich, poor, Democrat, Republican, independent, disabled, I don't care who you are we going to finally come together and get serious and start solving some problems? Are we going to bring about fundamental change in America? That's what this election should be about. That's the kind of debate we should be having. That's not the debate we're getting out of John McCain right now. He's spending an awful lot of time talking about me. But think about it. What's the bigger risk? Us deciding that we're going to come together to bring about real change in America, or continuing to do the same things with the same folks in the same ways that we know have not worked? I mean, are we really going to do the same stuff that we've been doing over the last 8 years? That's a risk we cannot afford. The stakes are too high. And as I'm traveling around the country, as I meet people in town hall meetings and VFW halls and diners all across this country, the one thing I know is the American people are good and decent people. You are a good and decent people. You are self-reliant. You are independent. You are not looking for a handout from government. You expect to take care of your own family. You are responsible for your own lives. But what you do expect is the government's not going to be run by special interests. You do expect that they can give you a little help. They do expect that if you do expect that